Among the beautiful stories, it is told that in a time long ago, a man from the tribe of Banu Shayban set off to Al-Hira with his wife and children. They had endured long years of poverty, moving from one tribe to another in search of prosperity, but never achieving true wealth. Although they survived, the wealth they desired remained elusive. In desperation, the man sought an audience with al-Numan ibn al-Mundhir. This was during the pre-Islamic era, before the time of Prophet Muhammad. Peace be upon him. Upon reaching Al-Hira, the man told his wife and children, "Stay here near the king. His generosity will benefit you, and his protection and army will keep you safe. As for me, I will leave Al-Hira. Where to, I do not know, but I will not return until I bring back wealth that will enrich me and you, my children." The man left, swearing this vow upon himself. He journeyed aimlessly into the desert, carrying only his sword. He walked on foot, as he did not even have a horse. One day, he came across a distant house with a horse outside. He approached cautiously, hoping to take the horse. However, a voice from inside the house called out, "O you, leave the horse alone, or you will lose your life today." The man replied, "As you wish," letting go of the horse's reins and moving away. The next day, he arrived at a well guarded by men and livestock. Realizing it wasn't the right opportunity, he continued his journey. He encountered several other situations, but found that the tribes he encountered were either too fortified or too numerous for him to confront. Finally, he came upon a lone Bedouin tent in the middle of the desert. It was surrounded by signs of life: camels, horses, and supplies. But the tent itself appeared empty. It was near sunset, and the man entered cautiously, finding the place dark and deserted. Suddenly, he heard the sound of camels approaching. He hid in a corner of the tent, peeking through a small opening. He saw a magnificent sight. 100 camels led by a tall, commanding rider, whose feet nearly touched the ground as he sat atop his horse. Accompanying him were 2 servants, one on his right and one on his left. The man held his breath, careful not to make a sound. The group entered the tent. The rider ordered one of his servants, "Milk that camel and bring it to my father." The servant milked a camel and entered the tent, bringing the milk to an elderly man lying on his back, weak and near death. The servant helped the old man drink, but he barely managed a few sips before collapsing again. The man hiding in the tent, starving and thirsty, waited for the servant to leave. He then drank the remaining milk from the container, careful not to empty it completely to avoid suspicion. This routine repeated itself over the next day. On the 3rd day, the elderly man's condition worsened, and the group slaughtered a sheep to prepare food. The hidden man managed to steal some of the food while the others slept. That night, as the group slept, the man decided it was time to act. He quietly led the camels out of the camp, taking all 100 with him. He moved carefully, ensuring the riders didn't wake. However, as dawn broke, he heard a sound behind him. He turned and saw the same rider chasing him on horseback. The rider called out, "Stop! Stop!" The man stopped, drew his sword, and prepared for a fight. The rider dismounted, his strength and confidence intimidating. The man realized he was no match for him. The rider asked, "Why are you taking these camels?" The man replied, "I swore an oath to my family that I would not return without wealth to sustain them. These camels are my fulfillment of that vow." The rider admired the man's determination and courage. "You are a guest in my tent, and I do not kill my guests. If you had asked, I might have given you some of the camels." The rider revealed himself as Zayd al-Khail, later known as Zayd al-Khair, after converting to Islam, a legendary figure known for his generosity and bravery. Zayd explained that the camels belonged to his sister, but he promised to give the man 100 camels from his own wealth in the future. He then returned the man to his tent, fed him, and allowed him to leave safely. Later, when Zayd met Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and embraced Islam, the Prophet renamed him Zayd al-Khair, Zayd of goodness, and praised his character, saying, "You are even greater than the descriptions I have heard of you."